Welcome to Rollerdrome.
Gamer Braves.
What's up guys, this is Rollerdrome from Game Braves, and I'll be real with you, sometimes this job's pretty hard. Look, no person is going to like every game, but it is your job to figure out what people might like about a game. And so you'll often find times where game reviewers have to think outside themselves for a bit and have to do things like imagine who this game would be good for even if they don't like it. Because remember, you can't account for taste. I don't like a lot of popular games, I won't mention them here, but I can tell you that they are probably pretty good. But then, every now and again, a game falls into your lap that's just absolutely perfect in every way imaginable. Like if a skate-clad angel had come to you with a game made in your image. In short, Rollerdrome is Judge Dredd's Pro Skater and probably one of the best games released this year. Rollerdrome answers a question that no one had thought to ask. What if Tony Hawk and Judge Dredd had a baby? You play as Kara Hassan, the newest competitor in Rollerdrome, a deadly sport owned by the Matterhorn Corporation. And if you love your future dystopias, that's all you need to know about the game's plot. The rules are simple. Kill everyone. But don't forget to do sick tricks in between kills because that's the only way you're getting ammo back. New tricks will get you more points, but if you wanted to do a pure Spartan run, then you can just do the same flips over and over just to reload your ammo and go for that max efficiency, you know? When it comes to actually doing the tricks, Rollerdrome isn't that different from its cousin Ollie Ollie World, which is also developed by Roll7. The only difference is that instead of being a simple obstacle course, Rollerdrome is an arena. It's very much a game that you'll want to get into a sort of flow state to play, because you will have hundreds upon hundreds of runs where things just don't go well. Even if you do beat the level, you'll find that you took so long that it deducts your score all the way back down to 0. But then on your next run, you get that one moment where everything just makes sense. A sort of Kenja time, if you will, that leads you to getting everything right, and bam, you have suddenly beaten the level's high score. After finally perfecting this level though, you do the next level and somehow it completely blows the last one out of the water in terms of difficulty. I kid you not, the back half of Rollerdrome is not even a skate game anymore, it's a Toho game. You're literally dodging rockets, beams, flamethrowers, and elemental hero Stratos for some reason before he stomps you to death. The only difference between this game and the Stratos you probably know about is that this Stratos is not limited to one. But how would you fight off a rogue elemental hero? Well, you do this, of course, with guns. I'm a really big fan of the selection of guns you get in Rollerdrome because they all feel unique and specific for what they're supposed to do. By the end of the game, you probably have your own definitions for what these guns are for, and it's not because of some obnoxious upgrade tree that says, ooh, the pistol does this. No, it's because you use them to solve problems, and the game gives you quite a lot of ways to solve them, so you will probably come up with your own way of doing that. A good example of this is shooting rockets out of the air with your dual pistols, or engaging in some good old sniper versus sniper combat without having to boot up CSGO. On top of their more direct uses, there's also a lot of silly attack you can do in the game. For example, if you blow up a landmine under you, you can use that to rocket jump. Doing it with the grenade launcher in particular gets you an even bigger radius, which gets you more airtime. What are you gonna do with more airtime? Tricks, of course. Is it the most practical way to play the game? No, but it's silly and fun and really cool, and that's basically Rollerdrome in a nutshell. Kinda like Ollie Ollie World, you can totally do a dry Spartan run where you're just playing to get to the end of the level. You can do that and it's fine. But if you're the type of person to hear the sales pitch, combo plus gun plus roller skates, you probably have a bit of style to you. You're probably listening to Bury the Light right now, and you're gonna be the kind of person who wants to do pointlessly cool things, and you're gonna be happy when the game rewards you with points and bullets for it. That's part of what Rollerdrome does so well. Every second in the game, there is an interesting interaction that you can do, and you will be rewarded for it regardless of which interaction you do. Unless that interaction is, you know, getting shot, in which case you'll be rewarded with no more multiplier. Not content to only be fighting dudes in skate gear, the game does also have boss fights, and I gotta say I am a huge fan of how it does them. Both the boss fights in the game are basically what happens when a Tachikoma from Ghost in the Shell and a skate park has a baby. The boss fight itself is actually very simple. Hit the orange glowing weak point and bam, you win. However, how you get to this weak point is a completely different story, as you have to survive the long barrage of attacks attacks by the bosses. Now, ordinarily, I'm not actually a big fan of the Warframe school of boss design, where the boss is completely invulnerable until you do all the needless tedium the boss asks of you. But the difference with Rollerdrome is that Rollerdrome is a game about problem solving. The fact is, the gameplay is about solving all these problems, like being chased by missiles or being shot at. At the end of the day, shooting the weak point is more like a reward for surviving the onslaught of rubbish thrown at you. You really see it in how the game handles just about everything. There are no builds. You don't go online and see what the best loadout is for Rollerdrome. It's entirely a skill issue. If you cannot kill the giant Tachikoma or the snipers or elemental hero Stratos, it's a skill issue. And speaking of skill issues, Rollerdrome has an answer to that too. It's got some of the best accessibility features in one of these masochist targeted games. The game has what is called Assist Mode. It's a series of menus that let you customize everything about the game so you can decide exactly how challenged you want to be. You can scale the damage that Kara takes if you feel like maybe the snipers do a little bit too much damage per hit. Or if you just want to rush to the end of the level, you can just turn off damage entirely. Do you not like the timing window for the slug shot? You can turn that off too. You can even turn on infinite ammo if you just want to get to the end of the level and not have to do a single flip. In fact, you can even remove the game's progression system, which is the challenges. Normally, certain levels will be locked behind a minimum number of challenges that you have to complete, forcing you to go replay all the previous missions and get enough challenges to get through. But you can even turn that off. The game is only ever as hard as you want it to be, and I think that is great because now everyone can play it and feel the same stress without necessarily having to be under the same stress. If you're not happy that Rollerdrome can make it as easy as you want, you can also make it as hard as you want, because once you beat the game's story, you unlock Out for Blood, which may as well be called Kara Must Die if you're a Devil May Cry player, because it is a post-game mode that makes sure that all enemies appear in all levels while also bumping up their damage. Seriously, if you like the difficulty of Rollerdrome, then Out for Blood is going to be the mode you want to play after beating the game, because it is freaking hard. Seriously, Rollerdrome is a damn near perfect game. It exists in parallel with Ollie Ollie World, and is great for people who didn't quite like the chipper, upbeat tone of Ollie Ollie World and wanted something more brutalist. Its main flaw can be that it can almost get too intense sometimes for certain types of players, because assist mode simply wasn't an option for me most of the time, since I did need Kara to be in a little bit of peril to have some fun. That being said, the ability to scale the damage does let you mess with that a bit more. It's just my gorilla brain that wasn't trying to tune it around. The problem with the game's intensity is that if you're not in the right frame of mind, it can be exhausting. It also doesn't help that the game's halfway point does kind of drastically change the game. Enemies become a lot more tanky, and you do learn the lesson that you're not going to be able to kill everything in one engagement. It's much better to do drive-bys, something that you might have learned if you grew up on the streets, but hey, we play video games. And especially big shout out to these teleporting jerks, because I can't remember their names off the top of my head, since in my heart they will always be the Blitz from Devil May Cry 4. Rollerdrome gets a 9.5 out of 10 from us. Seriously, too many games try to have a little bit of everything. Maybe they'll try to go for too much drama, or maybe they'll try to have some sort of recurring loot pattern. Rollerdrome is what happens when you have purity of focus. It is a game that knows exactly what it wants to do and then shaved off everything it didn't want to do. Even its story is great because it's not the story of Kara overthrowing a system. It's a snapshot of a brutally dystopian world that you just get to see played on the radio while Kara prepares for her next match. The fact that it's so confident in the one thing it does really fun is a good thing that more games should try to emulate. Even if skate shooter was a genre and there were more games in it, I'm positive that Rollerdrome would stand among them as one of the best of that genre. Combine that with the game's sense of style, and you almost want to strap on a pair of skates yourself and grab a Nerf gun and see if you can do a backflip while shooting. Almost, anyways. A huge part of getting older is realizing that you can tank way less falls. And unlike this game, you're not going to be able to just randomly pick yourself back up. This has been Juan Miller from Game Braves, and I want to know what your favorite skate game is. We've gone so many in the most recent years, and I genuinely want to hear from you. Anyways, take care guys.
Hey there! Thank you so much for watching our videos. Don't forget to give us a subscribe if you'd like to see more, and like so we know what kind of content you want to see. Got suggestions for new content? Let us know in the comments below too. Thank you so much again for watching. Take care, dudes.